just about to go on a trip to the Castle of Azure Hollow. Would you like to come on a tour with me to the historical Castle of Azure Hollow? Whoa! Whoa! Welcome back to 1,000 years ago in medieval times. I'm Knight Gennaro, and I'm going to be showing you the first line of defense of the castle. Here is a horse. I added a horse because horses can be very powerful and knock enemies down. Here I added 2 catapults on both sides, over here and over there. They actually function too. You just have to hold them down and they'll shoot. Here I added some knights. The knights help protect the castle because they can fight the enemies. Here is the barbican. The purpose of the barbican is the main part of defense. So when the enemies go in, and the drawbridge is up, they can walk through here and fall into the moat. Again, the purpose of the barbican is so that it's the first line of defense, and I have knights in there to protect it so that maybe when the other people, the enemies, come in there, they can have a talk to see what the enemies want. Next, let's talk about how the moat protects the castle. The moat protects the castle by the second line of defense. So if people try to swim through the moat is very deep, and I added a family of alligators. The alligators hide. So when the enemies swim through the moat, the alligators can go and eat them. Yum, 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 said the alligators. Next, I had a turtle. I added a little turtle because my castle is peaceful and magical. And one of my favorite animals are turtles, so I decided to add a turtle. Next, we're gonna get the queen to explain the rest of the castle. Welcome, my fair and noble kingdom. I am Queen Emma of the Castle of Azure Hollow. Now we're going to talk about the drawbridge. The drawbridge protects the castle because if enemies come, they can just lift up the drawbridge and they won't be able to get to the main gatehouse or the castle. Here is the sign for the drawbridge. My drawbridge can function. Now you see it open, and now it's closing. Next, we have the portcullis. The purpose of the portcullis is so that when people are crossing the drawbridge, the portcullis can open to let them through. Mine also functions too. It can open and close. The portcullis is the fourth line of defense in the castle. And here is my sign for the portcullis. Here is the main gatehouse. The main gatehouse, the purpose of the main gatehouse is it's kind of like the front hallway of a house, but this time it's in a castle. Here is the sign for the main gatehouse. When the people enter the portcullis and they go into the main gatehouse, that's behind the portcullis. Here is the Merlin. The purpose of the Merlin is so that when enemies are shooting at the knights can just hide behind the Merlin. And the purpose of the crenel is so that when the enemies aren't shooting, they can just shoot through the crenel with maybe bows and arrows or maybe even spears. Here we have a tower. It says my name, Queen Emma. The purpose of the tower is so that when enemies try to enter the castle, the people in the towers can warn the knights to get into their positions to help the castle stay safe. They can also see from a far distance because the towers are so high. And I did this exact tower on the other side of the castle too. Then we have another tower back here. Here's the sign for the tower. Here's another Merlin and crenel. The purpose of the towers are so that people can see from a far distance and warn people to take cover in the castle, like the king and queen. And I did the same thing on this tower on the other side too. The dragon, the mythical creature, protects the king and queen's throne. Here is the king and queen's throne. I also added a fire pit here to keep the castle nice and warm so that the king and queen don't get cold. Here I added 2 ladders so that if people want to fight from up top over here, they can fight from there. But they need a ladder to get up and down. I did the same thing on this side too. I put a ladder here and there. And that's my presentation about the Kingdom Azure Hollow. Thank you for listening. Thank you for visiting Azure Hollow. I hope you enjoyed the tour.